Hello and welcome to the Nightcap, Life Behind the Michelin Star, a late night lock-in here where we candidly discuss and debate all things culinary over a few drinks. Right now I'm sat upstairs at Salt Restaurant in Stratford-upon-Avon, Shakespeare's home in the heart of Warwickshire. It's about 9:30 at night. Service is wrapping up downstairs shortly. Let me introduce myself and what the hell we're all doing here. My name's Simon Alexander. I'm a podcaster, producer and daytime cooking show contestant. To my left, playing host as always, is Mr. Paul Foster. How you doing, mate?
Doing? You all right? Yeah?
Yeah, good man. And our guest today, well, I mean, this might be the most coveted chef we've ever had when I was looking through his CV. So keeping this short, I'm just going to say, we've got Mr. Tom Barnes. How you doing, mate? You okay?
Yeah, I'm very well,
no
thank
pressure.
you. That's very kind of you.
Honestly, though.
I don't know if I agree with that, but yeah, thank you.
No, man, I spare your blushes, but like looking through all the different things you've done and achieved over time, we'll get into it in a bit, but it's pretty damn impressive, you know, from the stars, very, very impressed.
Thank you very much.
Say.
Very kind.
So coming up on today's podcast, we're going to be talking about Tom's new venture, Skof Restaurant in Manchester. We're going to be talking about what it takes to be a 3-star place. We've got our table talk question. We'll do boiling point, where we'll tell stories of the real heat of the kitchen. And we've got some cooking hacks and myths to do as well. But before we get into all of that, this is a Nightcap. And for Series 5, we are teaming up with Ridgeview Wines, award-winning English sparkling wine, and Table Talk Foundation. More on Table Talk later on. But first, we're going to open up a lovely bottle of Ridgeview wine. The English wine industry is thriving so much right now, and they are a massive part of that. So, Paul, what have we got tonight, mate?
So I'm excited for this. I mean, we've tried a fair few of Ridgeview stuff, but we've not tried this. It's a limited edition, 100% Chardonnay, Oak Reserve it is, from Ridgeview.
Lovely. We're saying don't judge a book by its cover, like don't judge a bottle of wine by its label, but this is a bloody good label.
Yeah. And it is lovely. Got that oak feel to it. So it's barrel fermented, left on the lees for a bit longer as well, and also aged 6 months on the cork as well. So I'm expecting it to like have that rich sort of biscuity, toasty sort of flavours.
Beautiful.
But yeah, you guys have a taste. Oh, nearly spilt it. It's been a while.
Did well. You've become a sommelier these days.
Oh,
mate.
I don't know about that. Yeah, I'm good at drinking it. So yeah, limited edition. They've just released it now, so I don't know how many they have, but
Thank you.
they're really celebrating it at the moment because it's a special bottle.
Yes, what we're thinking pairing wise. Is there any particular?
Well, it's something like this, I just want to drink on its own on a, night in on my own with some charcuterie.
Nice.
It doesn't need to go. It can do. It doesn't need to go with a dish on a tasting menu or anything like that. Just some nice fatty meat.
Yeah, delicious.
Cheese,
Cheers,
if you
guys.
like that
Cheers.
sort of thing.
Cheers.
But it's lovely, a lot of character from it.
It really is.
You get that oak, that aging from the barrel.
Yeah, I love that.
It's really nice. It's crisp.
It's great. Really nice.
Special stuff.
Yes.
What a way to start.
We
what
will
way
finish that. Yes.
Yeah, we absolutely will. What a way to start the series. With that, we're going to be opening a different bottle of Ridgeview every single episode, which we're so excited for. You can go to their website now, ridgeview.co.uk, to find out more about their selection. So like I mentioned at the top, like Tom, I don't know where to start really, but I guess the thing I wanted to chat to you first about is the Roux Scholarship back in 2014.
Yes.
Which came out 10 years ago. Bloody hell.
I know, yeah.
Take us back there, if you will. Like, if you can remember, like how was it going into all that? Was it a nervous experience? Did you feel like coming off the back of it was like the making of you at that time? Like, what was it like back in 2014?
Yeah, for me, I think winning it was still probably the highlight. For me, it was...
It's one of the ultimate, isn't it?
Yeah. It was massive. So it was my second year entering. The year before, they'd actually done a TV series for it. So it was like the 30th year of the competition. So it was the year before was a bit different. It wasn't just your standard. You do the regionals, you go to the final. It was, if you got to the regionals, you had to go off and do like a training day, and then because I got to the final, they flew us out to Switzerland, so we went to like Michel Roux Senior's house. We did a day at Cliveden House with Albert Roux because that was his where he first worked at in England.
Bloody hell!
And if I'm being, it was a bit much. I was 23 at the time, and then like I just remember the first. So they took us to the Limewood Hotel with Angela Hartnett and James Martin, and we had to do like a little challenge they set us, and it was to make a tortellini, which I'd done plenty of times, but as soon as they said go on, and I realised there's a camera on me and this is going to go on telly,
yeah, man, just
blind panic setting, and
no.
It was
no way.
It was shaking. It was
I can't even imagine. Like sometimes they say like when you're younger, it's almost ignorance is bliss. Like you don't overthink anything.
Yeah.
But when you're surrounded by those people, you try not to pinch yourself at where you are, but also stay focused on like the job at hand.
Yeah,
sort of
exactly.
like, that's impossible.
You start questioning something that comes naturally to you.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. You do. Yeah. It's so that was the first year, but then the second year was a bit more. You know, it was the standard sort of format again. And when I got to the final, I was the only person who'd been in the final before, so that was a massive advantage, I think. Just obviously you don't know what dish you're going to get till on the day, but just knowing how the day will work, and I was a little calmer. And the thing I sort of realised the second year round was like just not to be afraid to ask the judges a few questions if you're unsure. Yeah, the first year I was a bit like, I can't ask them, they won't tell me. But then actually on the day, they were all really nice. They don't want to see anybody like not get the dish up at the end of it. So.
Sure. Oh, that's tricky though, because there must be like obviously an extent to which they won't answer.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, they won't.
Delicate,
like we had to cook a chartreuse, is it? My pronunciation.
Was this your classic dish?
Yeah. So it was
they
basically
come up every year. I see it. And I'm like, what is that? I've never
really.
Yeah.
No, I hadn't heard of it. It was
what was it?
So I think it's chartreuse is how they pronounce it. But it was basically we had to line a cocotte dish with vegetables laid with like a quail mousse, and then we had to fill it with braised cabbage, roasted sweetbreads, bacon, cook it in a bain marie, then turn it out. And then serve it with like savoury choux buns filled with cream, spinach, and a verjus sauce.
Wow. That's an expensive dish to practice.
Yeah, it's you don't know what you're gonna. You don't know. You find out on the day. Yeah.
So you only get. Am I right? You only get it written down.
Yeah. So you get a brief description of what it is, and then you have to go through it. So you get to take in your own books, and then you get 30 minutes to find it in the book, and then.
So there's no pictures, no nothing,
Yeah. So it's
even timings. Would it say timing?
No. Like you just So
I'm panicking thinking about that.
Yeah. How those? I've got a recipe book at home from like the 1800s, and you read the recipes, and it's just a paragraph. Try and make sense of.
Yeah.
But the amounts are in there a bit, and a little bit of description. They're so hard to decipher.
It's like reading another language sometimes, isn't it? It's like it is really. It's. So then, we went in, we did it. I mean, the time flies, and everybody's in the same boat. You sort of piece it together, and everybody manages to get it done. And then, but that moment when they read it out, I remember they get you up on the stage. It was like everybody in the industry was there, and you go up on the stage, read it out, and when they said my name, I was just absolutely.
Were you narrowed down to a couple of you by that point at the end? Or is
so there's six in the final. Starts with 18.
Wow.
Normally there'll be some in Birmingham, some in London, and then Michel Jr. and Alan will take one each. Then
amazing.
At the end of the regionals, they'll ring each other, sort of discuss, and then it's normally 4 from London and 2 from Birmingham go through.
Yeah.
And then so then you do the final. But there's no real way to sort of prepare for it.
Of course.
And it really makes you realise like how little you actually know, because then all of a sudden you start thinking, well, I hope this doesn't come up because I've never done that before, and I hope this don't come up, and then you really have to start
there's a bit of luck involved there.
Yeah. So it's
oh man, but when your name was read out, that must have just been like an out of body experience.
Oh, it was incredible, and like to have and you know, and they are really supportive once you've done it as well. Like the Roux family and all the scholars, they're all great. And I remember I was in Copenhagen, I was at like a little bit of a loss of what I wanted to do next. So I sent Michel Roux Senior an email and just said like, you know, I don't really know what to do next. And he rung me up the next day, like brought me out to the waterside and spent a few days there, giving me loads of advice, and like it was great. And then like, you know, when I was leaving, they'd left like a little package for me at reception. It had a knife in it, had a box of chocolates from my mum, some honey from my dad. Like they were like so nice. Like they are.
Yeah,
like they really do support you, like, and it's, you know,
but that's why it's the most prestigious competition. But they live up to it. It's not just it's a great accolade.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
part of something.
Yeah,
they make it
like
really
that,
hard to win.
It's like that royalty element to it.
Yeah,
isn't it? Cooking royalty. So all the
and
stuff
that's
around
what
it
kind
is
of
similar.
indicates it all. But like even like I didn't realise how obviously the Roux brothers are massive in this country. When I started at French Laundry in California, Michel Roux Senior came to eat.
Right.
It was 2007, and I was excited because I was from England. I'd never met him, and I was just a stage. I never thought it'd be that much on their radar, but they were like,
yes.
Well, and Corey Lee was the chef de cuisine at the time, and he was like in awe of him.
Yeah,
and it's California.
Yeah. Well, I had a similar experience. We because they put on trips as well every couple of years.
Yeah.
So I went on one with them to San Francisco, and we went to the French Laundry. But like every restaurant we went to, the chef wanted to come out. They wanted like to see Michel Roux Senior. Like he's like
worldwide.
Yeah, absolutely. We went for a drink at Bouchon. and we weren't meant to eat there, but then they had one of his cookbooks behind the bar, and all of a sudden all these dishes started coming, and this was before we went for lunch somewhere else. Like, I've never eaten so much food in my life, but it was
that is insane.
like seeing, like when you go into like these world-class 3 Michelin star restaurants, and they all like, they wanted to come out, have the pictures with him, like, of course, absolutely,
it's mega. Yeah. Where did you do your stage then, off the back of it?
I went to Hof van Cleve in Belgium.
Nice.
Yeah, and that was amazing because it was quite a small team. There was only 14 in the team, and like for a 3-star, and I was the only stagiaire there. Yeah, and I'd seen it on the 50 best list years ago, and like I'd loved the look of the food there, and it really was in the middle of nowhere. It was in a tiny little sort of farm town in Belgium. So
you're staying on site and doing all that.
So they put me up in a hotel. I didn't drive at the time, so I was like, I'm never going to get this opportunity to go there. Like, they lent me a bike. I cycled from the hotel to the restaurant. Wow! But it was great because, like I said, I was the only stagiaire there, so they just brought me into the team, and like it was class. Yeah.
But it's another good thing about the prize doing that. Is it 3 months?
3 months.
3 month stage in a 3-star. And am I right? You can't go anywhere anyone else has been before. Is that right?
I think they used to say that. I think now some people do.
And just going in, being the Roux Scholar in that, you're not just a star. You know that you're going to get a great experience from it, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And all the guys, when they started, I started getting into the team and chatting to them, and like they were almost a bit like, when I told them that I could, basically I could have gone anywhere, and they're all like, "What? And you've come here?" And then they're all like, "Oh, this is amazing!" Like, do you know what I mean? It made them feel good as well. Like they were quite happy that you know, that was where I'd chosen to go. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, I loved it there. That 3 months there was great.
Yeah. Were they like building block, stuff you learnt in those few months that stayed with you?
It was just totally different, and like it was my first time in a foreign country, like for a period of time. So like learning the different culture, and the food there was very like you took influence from all around the world. Lots of spices, lots like pepper was a big thing. I didn't realize there was so many varieties of pepper till I got there. Like every dish had a different it was brilliant, and the team there were like really nice. They actually sent a really nice email to me the other day when Skof got announced. Like it was nice that kept that relationship. 10 years later, you still got that relationship. Nice. It's just so unique, isn't it? Yeah. So like, without sort of getting too deep, like after that then, and not the come down of it, but did you feel a pressure of like, what do I do next now? And like, there's almost like a sense of, well, this, I've got to live up to some sort of expectation because you've achieved this thing at such a young age? Not really. I mean, it was massive for me. I got promoted to head chef at Loncloom off the back of that.
Right, okay. Was that like,
so there was a pressure
over the edge?
Yeah, but so I suppose there was a pressure there. But like, you want to sort of, you don't want them to like be looking at you thinking, oh, like we made a mistake giving him the title sort of thing. But, no, it's not something I think about every day. But.
So how long had you been at Loncloom before you got the scholarship?
It's been about 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I started in 2011. It was 2014 when I won the scholarship.
And you walk back in and kick the door open like, things are going to change around here.
No.
Simon's always had, he's had a few winners, hasn't he?
Yeah, obviously Mark. Over the years. He's
yourself, Harry Guy.
Freddie Foster was working for Simon actually.
Was he?
Not people know that, I don't think.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Freddie was working for Simon in London. Obviously, so Simon. I mean, there was 1 year when he had, I think there was 6 finalists and 3 of them worked for Simon.
Yeah, I remember.
Very supportive and to do stuff like that. It's great.
Yeah. Well, you must get asked about Simon a lot. I've never met Simon Regan, but being under his, was he a big help, I assume, in the scholarship as well, and training for
career in general,
and everything else. That must be a privilege to have him
absolutely
along that journey.
Probably
you probably worked with him so long that you can't really imagine what it would have all been like without.
Pretty much. I mean, 12 years I've been with him now. So
when have you moved on now? Have you finished?
Pretty much. Yeah, I was doing a bit of a handover with Paul, who's taken over. Paul, who's the head chef at Loncloom, has taken over my role.
Okay.
So, we've been working together. Sort of just handing over everything.
Okay.
What was from the scholarship to sort of almost the next sort of 8-9 years? Then what was? Did you feel like in a flow with Loncloom? Was there always? I guess there's always a pressure with 3 stars to keep the dry, being innovative as well as every day excellent, but what was can you sum up that sort of period post scholarship and being head chef there?
Well, obviously from when I won the scholarship to Loncloom getting the 3rd star was another 6 years. So for Simon, he never all constantly evolving, so it's always great to be like in that. No, never. So it's great to be on that with him, and it keeps you on your toes, But yeah, no, it's just brilliant. My time at Loncloom is something I'm massively fond on, and it's got me to this next point now. I never would have done that without Simon.
Yeah, it's an incredible restaurant. I want to go back. I haven't been since 2008, and it's very different. A great meal then. It's a completely different place now.
Yeah,
it was 1 star then. Beautiful little village. I loved it, and I need to go back because
it's such
a
completely
different
place for me. Yeah, never been still. But so in that 6 years, was there? You've always talked, Paul, about Michelin being the byproduct of a daily drive to just try and be great anyway.
Yeah.
You don't want to try and necessarily, but was there a sense when it's 2 to 3? Was there ever like we're trying for a third, or was it just something that sort of came?
No, like Simon was like, as soon as, because I was there when the restaurant got its 2nd star, and straight away was like, we wasn't like, oh, I'm happy with it. He was like, right, now we want to get 3, like straight away.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, and he was quite vocal about it as well. He wasn't like, he wasn't. Yeah, I remember someone came in, I can't remember who it was, but someone was doing an interview with him, and he's like, we want to get 3 stars. Like,
shit. And
it was, so he's, he's
ballsy.
Yeah, and it's great, and like to actually see him finally get it was incredible. Like that.
I still find it so fascinating though, because we've talked about Michelin obviously loads in these podcasts, and because we're not like working for them, we still don't definitely know what goes on or what they're, we know it's all about the food supposedly, but how does he then go, we want to get 3, know the difference between what is a 2 and a 3? Like, do you think it's easy to black and white say?
No, absolutely no. I couldn't tell you what was different from now between a couple of years ago,
It's so hard to pinpoint.
Yeah,
it's like when you eat in a 3, you generally, you're in a 3, but it's hard to articulate why.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I have no idea. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Really?
I've said to you, every 3-star I've been to eat, I know I'm in a 3-star.
Yeah.
And I've never worked in any. I only staged at French Laundry, but I knew I was in one. But you can't. It's hard to put your finger on.
Yeah,
it just is.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
But was there anything along that process though, like in that journey to getting a 3rd? You tasted something, or a dish came together and you thought, okay, no, this has gone up a level. Were there any moments?
No, I think because it's it's like, if I looked at dishes from Loncloom like 6 years ago now, I'd be like, oh yeah, that was from 6 years. But like if it's from 2 years ago, maybe it'd be harder to clock, because it's a slow process really. Like the recipes that are really good stay, and you come back to them sort of year on year and try and tweak them and make them a little bit better. Yeah. And then obviously you're putting in new stuff as well, because like we're all sort of learning and growing, and new people come into the team, and everybody has their say on the menu. But it is a slow sort of progression. But like every year, if there's a dish that we've done before, we always look at it again and try and tweak it and make it that bit better. But I couldn't say it was like, all right, we just did this and that was what got us over the line.
I suppose it's all around fine tuning and just being better and more consistent at everything, and more process and check through everything. It's the only way I can sort of imagine.
Yeah,
really.
I think no,
to the naked eye. Like if you look at it like 100-meter sprint, like Usain Bolt was clearly the winner, but when you look at it, he was like 0.2 of a second faster. That's nothing.
Great analogy.
Really, is it?
Yeah.
But it's those little fine differences.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever he's doing.
And even though Michelin say it is all about the food, it's, with a 3-star place, and you say that feeling of being in one, it is a load of stuff around the edges that makes you feel like you're in one.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
It has to be. Yeah, you can't. If you were like I've said this so many times, but if you were serving the food, they're serving that at Loncloom just in a shed with a rude waiter. It's not getting 3 stars.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
no, it is the whole thing, and we have an amazing front of house team, and everybody buys into Simon's, the journey that he's been on, the restaurant's been on with the farm, and like, the front of house team, the kitchen, they go up and they help at the farm, they see what's going on, and everybody's completely like in and like all going in the same direction, and that's like, and I think, you come to Cartmel, you're there, you're in Loncloom, sort of almost like Loncloom world, really. Like, you know what I mean? And the farm's so close by, you're in this beautiful restaurant in a really amazing part of the world, amazing sort of scenery and views around it, and it's like the whole experience.
And so between you and Simon, and in that period, what was, when new dishes came along, was it always the same formula in terms of who instigated an idea, or did new dishes come about in different ways?
Yeah, we always sit down together. So Simon, me, the senior chefs, and then it always starts with the farm.
Cheers.
what's coming in from the farm, what can we
really?
do. Yeah, that's the main focus, and like that's like I think Simon was like one of the first to be doing the whole farm restaurant.
He was doing it in the way it
yeah.
was done as well. Like there's always been your ones growing a bit of produce, but it's a few percent of what they use. But no, doing it as a farm, not a little kitchen garden.
No, yeah, exactly. And the farm now, it feeds all the restaurants. It's not just Loncloom, it does. But that's where all the dishes start.
Yeah.
Well, we've said it before because I think we spoke to Simon Holston in series 1 about this and stuff. But like, there's also a completely different set of pressures of having a farm that with produce coming out your ears one day of certain things.
Exactly.
It's like,
yeah.
Shit. Okay. So.
No, yeah, it's the same for us. Yeah, you have to.
Pivoting.
Sometimes you don't always get, especially in Cumbria, like with the weather's so drastic. Like, one day your turnips are like certain size, and then next week they've trebled, and or like you get a bad case of frost and it's wiped something out, and so we're constantly evolving dishes, and like we don't always have the luxury of time when it comes to getting dishes ready when you're working with the farm.
So that keeps you on your toes. So in a way, as a byproduct, that keeps everyone because
I think it's great.
Complacency can't set in.
No, exactly.
Really.
No.
But I remember you saying like it's not really a trick because you're not pulling the wool over people's eyes. But I remember you saying about the memoir, they'd say things like the garden salad or whatever. So obviously that could change. The wording meant that, you were never tied to one ingredient.
No.
Yeah. Well, no, I did that when I was at Mallory. So we called it. We always had on the taster menu Mallory garden salad, and we'd just do it in a way that everything was from the garden, but there'd be something raw, something pickled, something fermented, maybe a roasted root or something, and with some kind of dairy or curd and truffle. So you made this beautiful salad, but it changed every day.
Yeah.
As long as it had that acidity, that freshness,
absolutely.
the comfy, the roast, the ferment. So you can't just list that because it's different tomorrow, and then that row of radishes are taking a few weeks to grow back.
And then you just got it crossed out and so you've written above it.
So it's about being clever with it, isn't it? Really,
yeah, absolutely.
And being able to pivot.
You've got to.
Different way of thinking.
Yeah.
Just lastly, on the sort of Loncloom phase of your career, is there a particular dish, a thing that you sort of epitomises it? It's like, that was Loncloom, the dish, that is it.
The dishes that come to mind now that are on the menu and people really love, the pork and eel, which is a deep fried sort of fritter in a tapioca crumb with like fermented sweet corn and lovage, which is one of the snacks, which is incredible.
Is that something that's been in different guises throughout the years there?
It's it has been, but the version that it's on now is like, it's brilliant. The
sounds incredibly tasty.
The Berkswell pudding is another one that's an absolute, become a bit of a classic.
Nice. What's that with Berkswell cheese? It's just down the road.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
But they're finished now.
Yeah, we've actually just changed the cheese.
Yeah, they've gone bust or gone under or something. Yeah, it's a shame. The cheese is amazing.
And then what other dish? The Tunworth cheese ice cream it's on seasonally with different garnishes, but it's a real good one. It's seaweed custard. Nice. There's a few dishes and.
When I went, they had do you remember the stiffy tacky pudding?
Yeah.
Stiffy tacky pudding?
Because it's famous for, you'll know more than me, sticky toffee pudding in Cartmel. Did it originate from there?
Yeah.
I thought so. And so Simon did one, and it was all different spheres of every element broken down. It was really cool back in the day, wasn't it?
It was like reverse verification.
Yes, it was. And
it was a bit before my time now, but I know that dish.
Wow. It was so famous, and it wouldn't sit right now, but in its time, in 2008, it was like, wow, what the fuck is this? So one was a toffee, one was a sponge, one was date, and one was a custardy one. So you had all the elements, you had them in order. It was really cool.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Such a special place. I've got to go at some point in my life, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Taking us sort of up to now in terms of your journey then. Yeah, I mean, great timing. We're recording this in late November. This week just been announced about Skof and about the new place. Yeah, so tell us what's going on.
So we're going to be, I'm going to be opening in Manchester.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, so it's something that we've spoken with Simon and Sam, the managing director, about for a long time. But we're finally getting around to it. We've been speaking about it for the best part of sort of 3 years, really. Trying to get the right location and stuff like that. But
So you're going out on your own completely?
No, Simon's going to. So this is kind of the next. I'll be in partnership with Umbel. So it's like a new branch of the Umbel sort of restaurant group.
but your identity, your
exactly,
path.
yeah.
What's the concept?
So we're going to be doing. Simon's kindly letting me use the farm as well. So we're going to do a tasting menu. In the evening, we'll do a lunch menu. The shorter lunch menu. We're going to offer a couple of different lengths of tasting menu to try and make it slightly more accessible. And then just good fun place. Like nothing stuffy, nothing pretentious. Great food. Good music.
Centre of Manchester?
Yes, by Victoria, so just on the outskirts of the centre, but a really good location.
Oh, nice! It sounds great.
Yeah, so I'm really excited, and it got really good sort of feedback the other day when I was very nervous when I knew it was going out the next day to see how people would react to it and stuff.
Yeah,
but
sure.
No, I got really good comments, really positive reactions. So
nice, mate.
Do you have a projected opening time?
So it's going to be spring, like late spring.
Yeah.
All going well. Late spring. Yeah. We've had a couple of delays already, but hopefully we're over the worst of it now. So
nice.
Yeah.
Does it feel scary to be, even though you're still associated with Simon and doing bits?
Yeah, scary. I think I'd be more scared if Simon wasn't anything to do with it. It's having him there.
It's an amazing experience to draw.
Yeah, exactly. To ask advice for, and Sam as well, because there's loads of things now that I've been coming across that are like totally new to me, going into this new world as a restaurateur. I've never done it before, and dealing with solicitors and stuff like that. I'm constantly on the phone like, is this normal? Like, is this normal for this to take this long?
I still do that now.
Your life, now grass-fed's in the mix as well, but as a restaurateur, it's completely different. So when you first opened shop,
I barely cook now. Really, just the thing you go into doing, you just don't do as much of anymore now. Now I've got 2 restaurants, so you're a restaurateur now, and it's a natural path for me, and I'm enjoying it. But I don't cook a lot now. I've got a great team here, and Laura looks after it, and Gibbo, and then downstairs, down London, I've got a new team. But I don't cook there. I cook a bit here. I cook a lot up here still. But
nice.
It's just dealing with suits and problems and people.
Firefighting,
dealing with dramas. Putting fires out. It's crazy.
Are you going to cook? And then still be a part of?
Because obviously this will be my first thing. So and we've got
you've got to, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
4 or 5 years here, I obviously did it. It's only been the past 2 I've stepped away. You got to put your stamp on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And do you think, and you may not have even thought about this or want to answer, but like how Simon was, would you be as bold to be with your team? I want to get a star, or will you just sort of
I think so. Yeah, of course. I mean, since I was 18, I've been working in Michelin star restaurants, and I think we all do it for the same reason. We want to learn and then hopefully one day get to take all those things that we've learned together and then put it on a menu. So I'm aiming to do the best food we can, and luckily we've got a great team coming in as well, and in the kitchen and in the front of the house. So
and you've got a good dining scene in Manchester now.
Yeah, it's
a
great.
lot better than it used to be years ago. It's positive. You've got some nice restaurants.
And even just in the last week since we've announced it, so many people from the area have reached out and wished us luck. And
great.
Now we're getting to chat with I had a meeting with a brewery called Track Brewery yesterday, amazing beers, and we're going to do hopefully do a lager for the restaurant and stuff like that. Getting to do some of the fun stuff now as well that we've announced it, we can actually
that's fun.
Good.
That stuff's fun stuff, isn't it?
It is. Not dealing with all the suits.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's so exciting.
I'm absolutely so a bit nervous, but I'm this has been my dream really.
Best of luck to you. You'll smash it.
I can't wait
to come up.
Please. That'd be great to cook for us there.
Amazing. This brings us on nicely actually to our next sort of topic. So we've also, along with Ridgeview, we've teamed up with Table Talk Foundation, and every single episode we're going to be presenting a question to Paul and our guest that sort of summarises and is in keeping with the philosophy of Table Talk. So if you're not aware of the foundation, basically they're all about food education for children, supporting local hospitality communities, and this is an insane stat. So today's question's around this sort of theme. There are currently 120,000 job vacancies in the hospitality industry. That's an insane number, isn't it?
Mental. When you said that earlier, I just
blew you away.
Couldn't figure it. Yeah,
exactly. So I mean, this is a very simple question on the face of it, but you guys live and breathe this stuff every day. So I just want you to be able to, if you can, describe what is the best thing about working in hospitality. Number one thing.
Number one, I think. I mean, on a couple of avenues. Number one, in terms of having you learn a craft and you get a skill that you're never going to lose, and you're always going to have a job. One, for the fact that, like you've just said, how many jobs are out there.
Yeah, good
and
point.
two, that people always need to eat. Even in, the area we work in the industry is the most populated in terms of how it's marketed, but we're like 1% of the industry. But the greater industry, people always need to eat. People are always having events. There's always things going on. So you're always going to have work, and you're always going to know, as long as you know your value and you've learned your craft, there's always plenty of work for you. You're never going to be in that position where you're worrying, am I getting my paycheck? Am I going to keep my job? You'd never hear of chefs getting made redundant.
That's such a good point. That's such a good point.
Just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And all these big industries do it, and they'll cut staff. But chefs are in need of chefs, so there's always work out there for you. You get in, you get out what you put in.
Yeah.
Like with this job.
So true.
Absolutely, yeah. For me, the creativity part for me is great. You know what I mean? To be able to wake up with an idea and then actually go into work and start working on it. I think that's like quite a privileged position to be in, it's
that is so unique, isn't it? That blank canvas thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So many industries, like everything is rigid, or you follow a format or a whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But the fact you can go in and create stuff from your mind or influence is
absolutely
incredible.
And then you work on it, you tweak it, and then you finally get it to a point where you have it, and then you get to see people enjoying it, and that's
rewarding.
And also there's so many positives to the job, like travel and the people that you meet from different cultures that you probably wouldn't normally meet.
Bonds you build with people,
absolutely,
is amazing. Yeah. And I piggyback on what you're saying as well about the creative side. Like years ago when I was at school, if you weren't academic, it was kind of like, it's school or nothing. It's exams or nothing.
Yeah.
But then, I was always thinking, well, there's nothing out there for me. My brother was brainy, I wasn't. But then I just found this whole new life of I can be myself. Like, as corny as it sounds, I found myself. I can be creative.
Yeah.
I was good at something.
No, that's amazing.
So it's a different avenue. If you're not academic, it doesn't mean there's a problem.
Absolutely.
You've got different skills, and this career you can really sort of showcase them.
Yeah.
And the irony of that, and you and many other guests we've had on spoke about when they first got into the hospitality industry, that in their words they fell into it.
Yeah.
But then, like you say, they applied themselves, loved it, and it's like this world opened up that they didn't realise existed.
Yeah, it was the first time for me that I actually did apply myself, because school didn't interest me. I wasn't very good at it. I didn't pick it up, so I sort of just mucked about a bit. And my teachers would have thought I was really lazy, but then as soon as I left school and got into a job, I'd turn up 4 hours early. I was 16, meant to be starting after all the senior shit. I'd come in the same time because I loved it that much and I wanted to pick up as much as possible. So I don't think I've ever been lazy. I'm lazy if something doesn't interest me.
Yeah, exactly.
But most chefs, they struggle with maths, struggle with English, struggle with spelling, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't hold you back.
No.
You can still thrive.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you're stupid.
You've got fucking QuickBooks now. You don't need to be good at maths. You know what I mean? It just doesn't matter. You're fine.
My teachers always said, don't be using a calculator in exams. You'll never have a calculator when you're older. Everyone's got a bloody calculator on them
If
now.
you could have turned around and said, I will have one on me for the rest of my life. It'll never leave my side. The calculator I'll end up with. That's incredible. Great answers. If you want to find out more about Table Talk Foundation, just go online, Google them. They've got loads of events, stuff to get involved with, and we'll be doing more questions throughout this whole series. They're great answers from you guys. Let's move on to Boiling Point, our favourite feature, long-standing feature of this show.
Yes.
These are stories of hell in the kitchen, basically, when you've either lost your shit or someone's lost their shit on you. Who wants to go first? The Boiling Point story.
Do you want to go first?
I can go first.
Oh, great.
Go on then.
It's not often the guest.
No, well, I've been thinking about this, and I thought about the first sort of time I saw a proper bollocking being dished out when I was an apprentice. So,
oh shit. Okay.
So no, I did my apprenticeship. So I only went to college one day a week, and I didn't have to do the college restaurant because I was already working in a restaurant. So anyway, this one day in college, one of the lecturers came up to me and he said, "Can you come and help us in the college restaurant today? We're really short staffed." So I was like, "Yeah, of course, no problem." So I went in there. There was about 30 students in there, and I was like, "How many have you got booked?" And they said 20, and I was like, all right, because I was working in a two-rosette kitchen, but there was 3 of us and we did 40 people. So anyway, my job for this service was to hold the tray of fondant potatoes for the chef that was putting them on the plate. So I didn't have much to do. I wasn't. So I was kind of just looking around, and the way the college restaurant worked was there'd be the lecturer on the pass, and he'd always have a level 3 student on there with him. So the level 3 student would call out the checks. Everyone would scream back, yes, chef, to him, this and that. Anyway, I was a level 2 student, so I wasn't I wasn't as high up the pecking order, yeah. So anyway, I don't know what had happened, but the lecturer got a bit sort of mad at this student, and he'd kicked him off the pass. And anyway, then an order came through for a soup, and they'd asked for extra seasoning. I think it was just someone slightly older. They wanted a bit more salt, basically. Anyway, I just remember sort of watching this whole thing unfold. So this lad, the lecturer said to this lad who we kicked off, go do that for me. Go get me. So he took a ladle. There was a big pot of soup on. He took a ladle of it into the pan, and then I just watched him literally take a fistful of salt, like throw it into this pan. And like honestly, I can't, like, I'm not exaggerating. I was amazed it dissolved. There was that much in it.
It's like a snowball.
Yeah. I was like, wow. And I said to him, I think you might have put too much salt in that. And he was just like, I was level 2, like, whatever. Like, anyway, so I just stood back and then watched him take it up to the college lecturer, who took a big spoon of it to try it. His eyes just widened, like he spat it back out. And he, what the hell are you doing? Like, and I was just like, oh my God, yeah. So that was the first time I saw. But I always remember that. I'll never forget how much salt he took and put into this one portion of soup and dissolved.
His ego got in the way and wouldn't listen to you.
He wouldn't listen.
When you're that age as well,
yeah.
It's like, even though it's not you feel it by proxy, don't you?
Yeah.
You feel like, oh God, and you feel the dread and the fucking, even though it's not you in it.
It was almost like time slowed down a little bit as I watched him walking up to I was thinking, oh my God. Yeah.
There's always, whenever that stuff happens in the kitchen, there's a bit of, yes, it's not me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I wasn't.
Someone else under the bus.
Yeah. I couldn't get much wrong that day. My job was literally stand there with the tray of fondants. So it was, yeah. But yeah, that one was what I thought of. It was the first time I saw it.
It's funny that it's those sorts of things that happen early on that stay with you, though.
Yeah.
It's funny. What was the environment like in terms of that side of things at Longcliffe? Like, was it a sort of like the more modern way, a bit more quiet, a bit more chilled, or was it a bit heated at times? Like, can you put your finger on what it was like there?
No, I think Longcliffe's a pretty sort of chill place. I mean, we've got, like, me personally, I sort of I've not handled situations great in the past, I think I was young. Like me personally now, I've done like therapy and I do a lot of meditation, stuff like that to try. Yeah, because I think, like, there has been times where I've like shouted and I've never felt good about it, and like, yes, and I think the industry as a whole has definitely, it's come on massive, and like, years ago it was just accepted that you would work every hour under the sun, you wouldn't, get paid for any overtime, stuff like that, but like, I think the industry's come on. Like
leaps.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, leaps and bounds. You stand out if you're like that now, whereas you used to stand out if you weren't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great point.
Yeah, no, Longcliffe's out. Yeah, it's great.
Amazing.
So, I mean, I know I don't want to sound there. I do love the guy. Like, he's great to work for, and it's always been a good
volumes.
atmosphere.
His staff retention over the years speaks volumes in itself. Yeah,
nice. Paul, what you got for us?
So there is a little bit of slightly embarrassing stuff in this, but this was, but I won't go into the details of that. Okay. Fairly long one, but it's basically, I had a formal disciplinary at this place I was working, and it was I didn't do anything wrong, I must say.
Of course you didn't.
And no, you'll get all the context. But yeah, I was basically going to be at gross misconduct and get sacked, which I felt was very unfair.
Okay.
And I defended myself well. So, start of the story, I had to have an operation.
Right.
Very personal operation. I had to have a circumcision in my early 20s. Won't go into the details of the whys. And I was working in a place. They were generally really good with the staff. I'd done a good few years of really hard graft, and I wanted, like, I was a bit broken. I'd come out of Le Manoir and everything. I thought, fuck it, I just needed a chef's gap year. Yeah. So I worked Warwick Uni, like in the conference bit for a bit, and I had a good time, loads of holidays, loads of time with mates. Worked there for a year, and it was class because I could just have a social life for a year and then get back into it. So I've been there about a year or so, and I needed this operation. They were really good with stuff like that and paid sick time, and so I was like, well, what's this? Fucking going to get paid. So yeah, booked this operation. Everything was all fine. I went and had the operation, and the doctor, like, the standard is they'll sign you off for 2 weeks for that operation. week in, I was so fucking bored. And again, used to just working constantly, and I was just at home. I've gone through all my DVDs. There was no Netflix back then. Yeah.
Oh God, with that age where we're like, oh, there was no Netflix back then.
Yeah, and so I went back early. I signed myself back in because I was just bored, and it wasn't like I needed the money because I'd been paid anyway. So I went back in sort of 10 days in, and I'd given my sick note. So I had a sick note from the doctor, signed off. I said, given that in, give it to the head chef. He'd put it through. And I mean, I was walking like John Wayne. I shouldn't have been in the kitchen. It was still very sensitive. But I was
Why are you
just
so smug? I'm not. I'm walking like this for a different reason.
It was just, any kind of rubbish. It was painful.
Yeah.
So I got back in, and it was a couple of weeks later. Head chef called me into the office. He's like, there's an issue with your sick note. I said, what do you mean? He's like, they've said you forged it. I said, what do you mean? What the fucking forge a sick note? He's like, yeah, it's not legible, the days on it. Doctor's writing, right? And that's what it was. And they showed me it. I was like, what? It looks. What do you want me to do? I've come back.
Do you want me
early.
to tell the doctor his handwriting shit?
Yeah.
What do you want me to say?
So they've said to me, so I had to do the whole investigation. So this is going to go to disciplinary, and this could be gross misconduct. So I was like, and I never knew anything about disciplinaries. I was just from, you got bollocked and you got sacked. I was like, what's all this? And I was like really anxious because I didn't know what. Yeah. And I was like kicking off. Like, what the fuck? What? I've come back early. I didn't have to.
Yeah.
So why would I forge it and then come back early? And head chef's like, I know. Look, we've got to do this investigation, whole process. Went through it. They got me to get in touch with the doctor. And the doctor says, well, I sign loads of these every day. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything.
Fuck.
So, but I was like, what do you normally sign off for this? And I was a standard 2 weeks. So they took that, but they still had issue with that. That maybe they were saying he'd done it wrong and I just changed it. Fuck's sake. Right. What? I don't understand. I could just self-certificate afterwards.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought I was like, that's fine, give it to them. And then HR, massive HR team there. And the issue was because it's the uni, it's public sector, part private. It was a bit, so they acted like public sector, which I wasn't used to. I'm not very good in public sector, as most chefs are. So anyway, it's come there with, right, we have to do a proper formal disciplinary. They had 3 HR people there, the general manager, the head chef, and you can bring someone. I'm like, no, I'm not bringing anyone. Wow. I'm going to fight this. And I was just fucking angry, enraged at it. And then we were in this meeting, they're questioning me, they had the sick note there. I said, look, I'll show you the proof. Obviously, I didn't do it. I just wanted to call their bluff. I was like, I had a fucking operation. I was under anaesthetic. I'll show you now. Just obviously calling their bluff. No, you don't need to do that. And I was just angry.
If they'd have gone then, would you have got it out?
I don't know. It was a cold day. So.
Just waiting for them to interrupt you.
I think there'd have been an issue. I think there'd have been an issue if they had said go on. Then that would have. If they didn't try to stop that.
I think they would have been into something. Yeah. But it was more obviously, I know it sounds ridiculous now, but it was just this anger in me, and I didn't know how to deal with situations like that. And I was because I knew I was honest and I had an operation. I was like, I've still got the stitches. I will show you. So anyway, then it's come, and then at the end, they were like, we found you I don't know how they said it, but they said you're not guilty. I was like, well, of course you fucking haven't. And there's there's nothing going to be on your record. No, we're really happy to say that you're still an employee here. I was like, no, I'm fucking not. Threw my notice out. I was like, you lot can fuck off. I'm not staying here. I said, look, I've got a month's notice. I've worked out my holiday. I'm gone in 2 weeks. I don't want to fucking see you again.
Amazing.
I'm done. And then I had a chat with the head chef, who I really liked, and the exec chef of the whole place, who I still see now and again at events, and both great guys. And look, we'll promote you, we'll give you more money and stuff. No, I'm done.
Wow.
I've done loads for this, and even in for the uni, I did. I had a good time and loads of social time, but I did loads of competitions, went in on my days off to do competitions. I won 3 awards for them while I was there, which they promote heavily and use for their marketing. Yeah. And so you've just took the piss out of me the way you've treated me. I'm not doing it. I'm gone. Yeah. So I'm gone in 2 weeks. You won't see me again. And I was done.
Nice, man.
See you later.
That's incredible. Great story. I can't believe it's taken you 5 series to give that one.
I only thought about it
That's
recently.
That's an insane one.
Yeah, I forgot all about it.
Gold dust.
Yeah.
You're just the gift that keeps giving. Honestly, it's amazing.
Yeah.
That is just
that's
incredible.
Quality.
Yeah. So good. Great boiling point stories. We're going to be doing boiling point every single episode throughout this whole series, as always. Right, a couple more things. We've got a new feature to wrap up with, but first we're going to do some cooking hacks, myths, cowboy stories, stuff to help people out at home. So, Tom, have you got any good hacks, things you do around the house? Oh, a little drop,
Hacks.
How are you enjoying the wine?
Yeah, really nice.
Great.
So
It's
tasty.
It's the more I taste it, it's got that like proper burgundy flavour, like a proper burgundy Chardonnay.
Yeah.
From that oak. It's
Absolutely.
delicious.
Yeah. Any hacks or myths to dispel or hacks to help?
Hacks. Has anyone said about you have to peel a lot of garlic? A quick way to do it.
No.
So you just want to cut the bottom of the root off, put them in a bowl, put another bowl on top, and then just shake it incredibly hard.
It just takes them all off.
Takes it all off, and you can just pick them out. Yeah,
because the skins are dry, aren't they? So they'll just
Cool.
So it's quite a quick way rather than
is good.
crushing it, and you don't get smelly hands on either.
Oh yeah, fiddly as fuck. I do that every time.
Yeah.
Fiddling for ages with it.
Or you can put them in a jar or whatever. Just give them a really good shake, and then they'll pop off.
Yeah, so simple. Never had that one.
No, we haven't. A myth for me, I don't know if I've said this before, but it wasn't on my list anyway. There's a thing that people think is a hack, but it's just not. So if you burn, say, a pan of like, I don't know, ragu or casserole type thing, or you over salt it, like people say put a peeled potato in it and it'll take it out. What? Like honestly, it's something that people think works. No, start again.
Yeah.
Or if it's over salty, you need to dilute it somehow. You can't. They reckon it pulls the salt out. No.
Okay.
Or it takes the burnt flavour out. No.
Wow.
It tastes now burnt and potato.
I mean, that is just mad.
If you look it up, it's a thing that people think. And I've worked in kitchen when I was at Warwick Uni. Actually, somebody burnt a massive pan of something. I think it was bechamel. Massive pan of bechamel. Started sticking potatoes in it. What the fuck are you doing? It was this guy. I won't say his name. He was useless anyway. But anyone, I know a couple of guys from the uni listen to this. They'll know exactly who it is. He stuck some potatoes in. What are you doing?
What? That makes no sense. Just stop and tell me what you think is happening with the potato in there scientifically. Like
in
what
that
is
pan
going on?
that's still scalded at the bottom.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Mate.
So
Good ones. Okay, so new for the series. This came up during our weekly podcasts. We did top 5 books. So you did your top 5 cookbooks.
Yes, I did.
What was number 1? It
French
was
Laundry
Cookbook.
cookbook,
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a great episode. It was about a 3-hour episode because we were doing a deep dive into Paul's basically got a library of books.
Like most chefs, I was just geeking out over the books as you do.
You've got them everywhere now. They're at home. They're here.
I ain't got enough room at home, so they're here. They're in the back room in the office. Some in the car. Ain't got space.
I knew that obviously chefs love cookbook, but it's not just for the same reasons that the general public love cookbooks. So we thought we'd tap into that in this series and ask chefs for a cookbook recommendation of something that's close to your heart or one that you remember diving into when you were younger, learning the trade. So, Tom, you got a cookbook you can recommend to us?
Yeah, well, I can relate to the French Laundry one. I remember that was the first proper cookbook I got. I remember just coming back, sitting in a Waterstones when I was coming back from college one day, and I was like, I was looking through it, I was like, wow, this is unreal.
Wizardry, yeah.
Yeah, but no, the one I would recommend, the one that I used to go to a lot when I was first out, Culinary Artistry.
Oh, I know that book.
Yeah, I think that's really great. So you can go to look up lamb, and then underneath it'll just be a list of flavors that work really well with lamb. Also, like all throughout the book, and then it'll tell you the seasons of like vegetables and what pairs well with it. And that's something I really.
It's almost like a cooking index.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's really clever.
But that's
good for anyone learning and coming up, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if you're for a younger chef coming up, I would recommend that. And then obviously it's kind of similar, I suppose, to like Flavour Thesaurus and sort of those books. But Culinary Artistry was the one that I used to go to a lot.
Yeah, I don't have it, but I know the book you mean.
Yeah.
Didn't actually. I mean, I don't know whether you'd be able to recall any, but did it throw up things that paired together that you were like, I didn't even think about?
Yeah. I couldn't name one off the top of my head, but
that's what it was for.
There is stuff in there. Yeah, like you'll be going through it and be like, oh wow, I never would have thought to have put that together.
I don't think I've talked about this on the pod before, but do you ever, because of classic pairings like off the top of my head, like lamb and mint, is it sometimes hard to not just stay in the lane with things that, because obviously they work so well for a reason, and people will say, don't break something that's not broken. I think also you could get a bit like, oh well, yeah, lamb and mint. Guess what?
I think you go for. I don't know if you'd agree. When I was first a head chef and I was out like on my own, there was kind of this, I don't know, youthful arrogance of like, I don't want to do that. I need to find my own.
Yeah.
Reinvent the wheel in some way. You're doing nice stuff, but then when you mature a bit, that works for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to do lamb and mint sauce, but you might include it somewhere in it, or all of those pairings we all know works. So what?
Yeah, absolutely.
We've done this for a reason, and it tastes fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And you just start thinking when you mature as a chef, what tastes great on the plate is what matters. Not me trying to do something brand new or create a new flavour pairing.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah. I remember, if you do, brilliant. But sometimes you can go a bit too far.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I used to work for Phil Howard. I remember him saying that. He said to me once, "It's like there's a reason the French have been serving duck with cherries for this many years, and like
exactly.
and it's still around now." Like, so
exactly.
So funny. Yeah. You must have, like, especially in your younger years, like tried combos that in your head thought, "This is going to be amazing. I'm going to be a revelation," and then it's gone alpha.
I think. I found a book once, and my mum moved house recently, and I found like a little book that I used to jot like my own ideas down. I was reading through it. No, I couldn't. Like, actually, I honestly couldn't think like anything off the top of my head. I just remember looking through it, like, that's going in the bin.
What was I thinking?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's all part of the process of growth, isn't it? I suppose. Yeah.
Did you ever have one, like a thing of like this with this, and nah?
I can't think of any specifics, but I definitely did.
Yeah.
And I've had books like that as well, where if I had an idea, I'd write out the words of the dish and like that with that flavour and that flavour. And you would look back 6 months later and like, what was the thing? I added no more context around it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no context. It looks even worse, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck was I thinking? That's a really good one. I've not heard of that one before. How old is it? Is it like a...
It's
do you have like pictures of food and stuff in it? Or is it...
There's a couple of recipes, and they're all from like sort of... I think it's like an American college or something like that, where the lecturers have done like... but there's not that many recipes in it. And the ones that are very sort of classical, but it's more for that sort of...
Is it from the CIA?
It might be. I'm not 100% sure if I'm honest.
Not the spy CIA. Yeah.
That's so good. I was going to ask you one more question about books. Oh, yeah, that was it. So when we were talking about the books on the podcast in the week, you were saying how it's obviously very different now, but like you used to like rush into a bookstore and like stand there for ages trying to see how long you could get away with flicking through the pages and stuff. And obviously that's like, it's completely different now. But you still think that there's room for young chefs now to still pick up a book and not just Google stuff?
Absolutely. I don't know. Everyone's different, but I think you'll learn so much more. When something tangible, not just a website you can just click straight over. I don't know. I associate much better with books.
No,
it's a shame. Like Waterstones used to be great. When I was at college, I'd go into them on the bus route home. I'd stop in the town in Carve, go into there when it was called Dillon's, and it'd be like all of Charlie Trotter's books were there. And then all of these chefs from, in America and in France that you didn't know much about because the internet wasn't that big. Yeah. But now, like, they're more home books in Waterstones. You have to find them from other ways.
Jamie's 30-minute meal stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have, you do have big name chefs in there, but not these like incredible books. You just don't market for it in your big bookstores, unfortunately. Because I used it like a library. I'd stand there for an hour, wait for the bus, like you did, and you just going through it.
Just start flicking through. Yeah. No, it is great when you get when a new restaurant or like a restaurant you admire is bringing a book out. I get really excited.
Because it like properly lifts the lid, doesn't it? Then because you're like, oh, that's how they do it.
Yeah, exactly. And you might see just one recipe that you think, oh, that sounds really cool. I'd like to try that, and then you almost build a dish around it. It could be from like an emulsion or something like this. Like sounds really interesting, and then you start to pair it together and. I still get excited when there's new books and that coming out.
Would you can you see that in the future of Skof or through you know, doing something just for you that's about
Oh, what, a book? Yeah, it's a big goal of mine. I'd love to do one day, but I think that'll be a while away. But something I've really like to do. Amazing. Like that idea of having something there.
Nice.
Because it's like part of your like legacy as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
especially when you
you've
achieved so much anyway, but it's like a part of like. A moment in time as well, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't change it. You can change websites and they go and the book's done. It's there.
Yeah. Because you were saying like some of the books, they're like they look old, but it's quite. Then it becomes a bit nostalgic because it was back then. So it's like, well, no, it's fine. It's like I don't want an updated version. I want.
It's like even if you look at like Salt, my first book now, like it was 2018, and it was the year we got the star in the food. We'll have the odd recipe. None of the dishes are on the menu now. The odd recipe or component is, and the identity's there, but it's that was from them.
When we did Great British Menu, they filmed the banquet in it was by the Bodleian Library in Oxford Uni, and that's how we do all like the Harry Potter scenes, the library scenes, and that. And they took us round. There's all these books from like the 15th century and stuff like that. And then at the end of it, the guy that was like in charge of it said he was going to take the menu and put it in the library somewhere. And I was like, that's probably like the highlight of the whole thing. So I was like, I don't know one will probably ever see it, but just knowing that like that's in there somewhere, it was like, it was really cool.
That is fucking awesome. Love that. Great note to end the podcast. Well, it's been so much fun being back up here.
It is, yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah, it really has.
Yeah.
Thanks so much again to Ridgeview for providing us with tonight's nightcap. The Oak Reserve was an absolute treat.
Delicious, yeah. I've had a few glasses. I think I've had more than you two, yeah.
You can find out more on their website, ridgeview.co.uk, and we'll be opening up another bottle next week. Also, thanks to the Table Talk Foundation guys. As I mentioned earlier, we'll be talking about topics to do with kids and education in food and also the hospitality industry throughout this series. You can find out more online. Lastly, thanks so much, Tom, for taking the time to come and...
No problem. Thank you for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for coming
Cheers.
down.
Thank you very much.
Cheers to
Cheers.
end the pod. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.